How? I was busy fiddling with some of my controls, as usual. Good evening. Okay, let me see whether I got it right or not. Just a minute. Some last minute check. Okay, mic is correct, camera is correct. And how about this? How cool is this? Wait, which camera is this? Okay, this is this, the other one. Hello. Okay, do I see this? There you go. All right. Uh, let's stop fooling around and get to the business. Hey, Bob. Let me get rid of this. Good evening. Bob is my mentor when it comes to LinkedIn marketing, and you should check it out if you want to basically make a difference or basically start to grow your network in on LinkedIn. Check out Bob. All right. Chiwai, I'm sure this is you. I can't see your name, but I assume this is you. Hi, good evening. Good evening. Okay, let's get into the matters at hand. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, let me get rid of this. Cannot give me back the bright one. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll stick to this. We'll stick to this. But then again, you see, the good thing is because I run this live, uh, and it's my life. Okay, I can always decide to do this. We're gonna fix the lighting too because it's different cameras, but it's different webcam, not cameras. Okay, not something fancy. All right, okay, let's uh, let's really stop fooling around. Okay, my name is Andrew, and I show up live every Wednesday. It used to be 8:30, and I've decided to switch to 9. Uh, for whatever reason, I don't know, because I think 9 is seems to be a right sweet spot, for most of the users. And I basically come on live for 30 minutes or less, depending on the questions and depending how long it takes for me to answer the questions. Um, my business, I help businesses develop deeper relationships with prospects and also clients through emails. And obviously, I have other experiences as well with regards to digital marketing, for example, building sites and basically coming up with the entire funnel flow, for example. That's for another day, but generally speaking, the main focus is to help customers do well and get more business, get more leads, or convert more leads into customers through the use of email. Okay. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, at least give me some breathing time and to prepare my answers and all things. Most of the time, the preparation is almost last minute. Okay, 15 minutes or half an hour before. That's where I put in all the slides and all those things, and get the put in the questions and all the stuff. But it is what it is. Okay, so let's see. If 9 is good, then probably I'll stick to this. Okay. What's next? Oh, okay. Here you go. So if you have questions related specifically for email marketing, if you have any other questions related to digital marketing, for example, you can still send over and I'll try my best to answer them. I can't claim to be an expert in everything on digital marketing. It's just impossible, right? Each particular element or each particular channel has its own unique strength and weaknesses, and it applies to different businesses. Okay. But anyway, just send it in, and if I could answer based on my experience or based on the experience I've worked with customers, I would definitely answer them. But for emails, yes, that's something I do and something that I am passionate about, and I can definitely give you the right answers, or basically an answer that you can consider and explore for your business. Okay, so this is the link. Ask Andrew anything. You just go to this particular site. It's basically a simple Google form. Put in your email address. Um, in case I need to check with you on clarification or whatever it is, and then fire in your questions. All right, as simple as that, and then I'll answer them in the following week. Okay. What else? Oh, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I spend most of the time on LinkedIn. Only recently, the last few days, I've been trying to get back into the Facebook game, but primarily LinkedIn. Why? Because most of my customers hang out on this particular platform. So, you know, um, being a single operator, you've got to balance your time between delivery to the customers. At the same time, you got to do marketing, and there's only so much time you can spend on social media. It is important when especially when it comes to attracting prospects and also having conversations with my customers, and also people who may be interested in email marketing. So LinkedIn is my default channel where I put in more contents there. Okay, so if you want, you can, connect with me, or you can silently follow me without having me to even communicate with you if you like, and observe what I post. And if you like, then you can connect with me. So no obligations whatsoever, but generally it's there. That's the idea of social media. That's the idea of building networks. Okay, so LinkedIn. I have free resources, which obviously because I do email marketing, and I send on average for B2C and B2B on average 2 emails or 3 emails a week related specifically for the businesses in that area and the users of emails. I am also looking at probably by November, no, this is what, September, by October, I'm also revamping the kind of content that I'm sending out to my list. And, it's free to join. And go to this site, free resources, Digital, ants.digital. Sorry, I couldn't find a domain with my name. Unfortunately, I was too late into the game. So ants.digital, and free dash resources. Make a decision and decide whether it's for you, or if not, it's fine. I will continuously put up free content related to email marketing primarily, and if I have the time, I may even, basically add on digital marketing. But generally speaking, it's available. It gives you insights into what I do, and gives you some of the experiences or some of the tests that I do with my customers. And, who knows, it may help you along in your email marketing effort. Okay. So with that, let's start with the first question of this week. This is from Kim, and she is asking, I hope, Kim, unless you are Korean, how do I know whether email marketing is right for my business? Now, this is an excellent question. I do have people come and ask me and says, some of them are saying like email marketing is dead. Some of them says email marketing is great. But generally speaking, for somebody who may be new to the business or may not use email, it is generally a valid question to find whether email is actually right for you. Okay, so I've caught in a few examples, and maybe I can just share with you. Okay, where's my pen? There you go. You see, I haven't charged my pen for some time. Okay, but I hope it should be working. So the first thing you need to do is this. You will need email marketing, or you will find email marketing useful if you need to communicate regularly with your customers. Okay. For example, if you're in a restaurant business, that will be awesome because you can either SMS them, right? But nowadays, SMS, unless you buy or basically subscribe to the so-called the commercial services where you can bulk SMS, or you can WhatsApp them, which you also may need a commercial service to them to send to everyone, or unless you put them into a broadcast list, for example. Those are ways that you can keep them updated, keep them briefed on what kind of menus that you may have, what kind of promotions that you may have to get them to come back, right? But email is an excellent way because in terms of cost, it's definitely lower than your SMS cost, and it's a lot more easier because SMS you can't write a whole article. Well, not really a whole article, but at least 100 words. Can you imagine sending an 100 words so-called message over SMS or WhatsApp? Nobody's going to read it, all right? So you got to pair them with use these two mobile so-called messages for short with a link, for example, that you can send to them, and then couple with emails, which you can add on nice pictures. You can add on recipes and all things. So restaurants definitely is one, or generally any other business that you need to communicate, because there's no way for you to run ads to these people. For example, let's say you have a launch, or especially if you're in the coaching business, or if you're in the training business, for example, how do you send? All right. So use emails, and it allows them to obviously opt out if they want to, but it gives a lot more context where you can send them to, your YouTube videos, your links, or your websites or blogs or whatever it is. So email is a great launching point to for you to expose more content to your subscribers. Okay. And the fact that because they opted in, and it won't come across as, unless your content is very spammy, then they will unsubscribe, or either they don't find basically your content relevant, then very likely they may not even be a right customer for you. Okay. So if you realize that, and most cases, most businesses need to communicate regularly with customers, unless your business is just one off, buy one thing and that's it, end of story, and I'm going to, then you can realize that your business model may be a bit flawed, in the sense that you constantly have to find new customers every day, which brings to the next one. Okay, let me get rid of this. Which brings to the next one. Oops, sorry. I'm still getting used to running this. Which brings to the next one. If you're running ads, all right. So if your business is one off, and that means you constantly have to rely on ads, and that's not really a good deal, because there's a running cost associated with it. Okay. So, and ad cost, as you know, because everybody is getting into this space, and now, especially after the 2 years of pandemic, everybody realized that marketing, or basically an online presence, is necessary for their survival or business survival. Everybody's online. And because of that, then they have to run ads, because that's how they can stand out amongst their competitors. So in your case, if you run ads, it is even more important for you to have an email marketing system in place. Why? Because you're going to then collect, whenever you run ads, you get people coming into your site, for example, or your landing page, or whatever it is. And not all of them is going to buy. All right. And not all of them would buy immediately. So the question is, how about those who came in, who may have shown some interest, who raised their hand and say, I may be interested, but I'm not sure yet. How do you actually nurture them? How do you actually give them more information to the point that they're more comfortable with you, that they may want to do business with you? All right. And you cannot be bombarding them with ads. All right. Your ads is great for discovery. That's the idea. Run ads to get more people discovery. And basically from there, then you need to nurture them. So if you do not have a mechanism for you to get in touch with them regularly, which is like this, then you're going to lose, your investment of your ads is going to be wasted. Okay, so if you run ads, it is more so important if you have an email marketing system in place. Okay, let me see. Is there any other comments? No. All right, cool. Let's continue. Next one. If you sell complicated or high ticket products or services, right? Now, obviously, there are steps, right? In order, for example, there will be interactions. There will be basically case studies that you need to share. There will be, for example, some tutorials or some basically demonstration. Now, the question is, how do you run this? How do you do this through your ads? You can't, right? So you use your ad to attract people who may be interested in your product or services, especially high ticket ones. And you use email to actually build up the momentum, build up the interest, address objections that they may have, for example. All right. People, I mean, you don't buy a $15,000 online course, if there's such a thing. All right. Or either join a 15,000 membership without actually understanding what it's about and how does it benefit you. So the emails would be great to actually address all these things. And like I say, it's a lot more, way more cost effective, right? And then you couple up with stuff like webinars, lives, and all those things. And that's how you surround your prospects with enough content and enough trust that they find that you are the right person that they should work with, or your products is probably the best for them to invest in. Okay. The other one is obviously if you're in B2B, in most cases, where you have your buying cycle is a bit long. Okay. So similarly to your high ticket item, right? In this case, because of the complexity of the content, the complexity of the information, you need to then basically use email to continue to keep in touch with them, to give them reasons why they should always come back to you and position yourself as the expert in whatever field that you're doing. All right. And finally, especially if you are a coach, a trainer, a service provider, or even like myself, okay, when you need to build authority and trust. And that's where you can actually use email. In this case, you can also pair it up. Now, it is great if you can pair it up with your socials and, for example, videos, right? So you can do stuff like YouTube. You can go live like what I do on a weekly basis to talk about a subject that you're passionate about. And or you can, pre-record them and then share this with your audience. Now the question is, how do you share it if besides social, what else can you do? Right? But social has a length. Whenever you post on average between 24 to 48 hours, that's where people will see it. And then after that, there will be other contents that will be taking over their attention, or basically fighting for their attention. So what you do is you then follow up with email. So if you notice now, it is not a standalone, so-called, it's not a standalone channel. You can actually have, basically, it's a combination, all right? So use email when you basically need to nurture and to have that one-to-one communication. And then pair it up with stuff like mobile messaging, for example, pair it up with your lives and your social media. Now you have a very complete system. And, Kim, if you're asking again, in your case, which is right, I would suggest you start with this few. Okay. If your business covers all this area or fits any one of these criteria, then yes, email marketing would be a great, excellent addition to your marketing machine. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, next. Then I ask this question: what are transactional emails or transaction emails? Okay, this is simple. When you buy something online and you will receive a message, mostly it's like this, right? At, let's say, the company name .com. Wait, let me write this nicely. .com. Right? And what is the content? Basically, is your invoice, your receipt. Okay. What else? Your statements. Okay. So generally, transactional emails are mostly triggered either through the app that you communicate with, or the online portal where you buy something and they would send basically an email like this, with basically either your invoice receipts or either your statements. All right. So this is different from your marketing email. Okay. And in most cases, depending on the size of the emails or size of list that you have, most companies would either basically use a set of a different domain, because deliverability is very important here, right? Because these documents or these contents are very important for the business. I mean, not to say that the marketing emails are not important, but in terms of, you want to make sure that your invoices or your receipts are actually sent and delivered to the right audience. So probably I'll address this in another segment. But generally speaking, when you have transactional emails, depending on the volume, it makes sense to either set a different domain for this, subdomain or whatever it is, primary to send this, and then separate them with marketing emails. People do not, in most cases, 99.99% of them, people do not report spam when you actually send legitimate emails with invoices, statements, or receipts. People will or might unsubscribe or report spam if they receive a marketing email. Okay, so you want to separate these two, all right? Where you have a subdomain, for example, an infrastructure dedicated specifically for transactional emails, and you have another one just to do your marketing, so that when, if you, for whatever reasons, if you mess up with your marketing and people unsubscribe, they will still, but just because they unsubscribe doesn't mean that they refuse to be your customer. They could be still remain as your customer. So you want to make sure that your transactional emails continue to be delivered to them, whereas you manage basically your marketing on a separate so-called channel or domain. All right, Kim. So that is basic. In most cases, the thing you want to see is you want to see the differentiation. Transaction emails normally they will have a notice and say that you don't have to reply. There's nothing to reply. It's basically a broadcast. But in this case, a broadcast is with content that is relevant or very important to your business. Whereas in marketing emails, I would always encourage for you to allow people to reply to your marketing emails because you want to have that conversation. Whereas in transaction email, it's basically here, you have done this transaction. Thank you so much. Here are the details of your transaction, and you can keep it for your safekeeping. All right. So you don't need for them to reply unless then if they want to, then they can always click on the customer support or customer success, depending what you call it, where they can have further conversations with your business, for help and all those things. All right. Okay. Oh shit, I should have written here. Anyways, by the way, I've got a new done for you service, and like I say, as I expand and I work with clients on email, I also realize that there are certain elements surrounding emails that need to be fixed or can be added on to actually make sure that your email marketing gets the best ROI for you as possible. I've got this done for you service. If you don't have, if you run a business and you don't have a domain, which is something that you should seriously consider, unless your business to you is not that important. And you should have a domain for your business. All right. In my case, it's ants.digital. I have any other a few other domains as well. That depends on the type of business that I do. But generally speaking, once you have a domain, you then need to have at least a web presence, right? Because they can find you on social media. There's one which is great. But if they want to know more, that's where you have your own assets, which is basically your own website, right? And by virtue of having your own website, you can then put a lot more content because it is your domain. Nobody can so-called, um, if you're on Facebook, Facebook may decide one day to not allow you in, right? They don't allow you to play because that's their playground. Whereas on website is yours, right? So you want to basically siphon off as much, prospects that you have that you got from social media into your platform. So email is one option. The second one is you didn't need the website to communicate the value and the benefits of actually going to, for example, to join your list, or at the very least to understand more, at least a point page that you can explain what you do and why you do what you do. Okay, so that's why I've decided to expand this service to actually include, basically a build for you. Either it could be landing page if you're running, products and services, or it could be your personal profile page. Check it out. It's build.antsdigital.com. This is one of my domain as well, and check it out and see whether it is something that you may need, if especially if you need a landing page or either a personal website to be built in to basically help you get more sales and also more leads. All right. So with that, I think that's done. 2 minutes more before the 30 minutes timeline. Okay. So let's see. Just do a quick recap. So if you have any questions, feel free to submit on email marketing to me, and I will have them answered. Like Daniel and Kim, I will have them answered for next week. Okay, and in the meantime, you can always follow me up on basically look at what I have on my LinkedIn. Other than that, catch me next week Wednesday, and very likely that it will be 9 o'clock GMT +8, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Cheers. Andrew Wong signing off. Have a good evening ahead, and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.